Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to VMT News. My name is Jose Teran, and starting with last month, the dance department at VMT held their annual American Horror Story Dance. Ramon Davalos has the story.
The dance department students performed on Thursday, October 28, 2021, at the Patiño School of Communications and Fine Arts Auditorium. The afternoon performance started at 1:30 p.m. and was one of the most talked about performances of the day. The theme of this performance was American Horror Stories.
I like to entitle it American Horror Stories to keep the American tradition of Halloween alive. Well, actually, I want them to escape everything that's going on in the outside world. Also bring a little bit of what's happening in the real world on stage.
The 12 pieces performed on stage showcased the legends and well-known stories of horror.
I believe the purge was the hardest part, only getting the kids to get a little bit serious about, keeping everything in time and choreography and practice and, putting energy into it. It's very difficult to dance with masks on because you're only using half of your oxygen. So I don't know if that was maybe a lot of the low energy was coming from that or what, but they really pulled it together at the last moment.
VMT students, parents, and teachers enjoyed the performance.
Excelente y todos los bailes estuvieron hermosos, no hay favoritos, todas se lucieron bastante.
My favorite part was when the purge scene started to happen, and it's really nice. I didn't expect anything to happen, like they really went out and beyond.
This performance was vivid, creative, and highlighted the season we were celebrating. For VMT News, this is Ramon Davalos.
Going with the national news, police have charged a convicted murderer who was released from prison last year with the slaying of a South Florida woman whose body was found in a canal after being missing for 3 weeks. Eric Pearson, 54, was charged Saturday with first-degree murder in the slaying of Erica Verdecia hours after her body was found Saturday near Fort Lauderdale, Sunrise police say. Pearson confessed to stabbing the single mother 4 times with a screwdriver on September 5. Verdecia's family had reported her missing on September 27, 3 days after she left home and never returned. Her mother reached out to her friends on social media, and one said she had seen Verdecia with a grimy man at a sandwich shop who told her that his name was Eric Pearson. Carmen Verdecia searched his name on the internet and was horrified to see newspaper stories about his earlier murder and attack. Sunrise police said in the court documents they had a brief interaction with Pearson and Verdecia during a September 25 traffic stop, the day Pearson told detectives he killed her. She was a passenger in Pearson's truck and did not appear to be in distress, police said. When police contacted Pearson again on October 4, he told investigators that Verdecia had walked away when he stopped to get gas shortly after the traffic stop. He said he never saw her again, but surveillance video shows that the pair had been at the gas station before the traffic stop, police said. Police say they questioned Pearson again on Friday. They say he let them search his truck and later found blood inside. His girlfriend later Friday called the police to say he would stare at the canal behind her home. She told the police he had said, if they don't find the body, they don't have a case. The body was found hours later. Next up, with another murder story, a Texas nurse has been convicted of capital murder in the deaths of 4 patients who died after prosecutors say he injected them with air following heart surgeries. The Smith County jury deliberated for about an hour Tuesday before it convicted William George Davis of Howesville of capital murder involving multiple victims. Prosecutors plan to seek the death penalty during the sentencing phase, which starts on Wednesday. Prosecutors say the 37-year-old injected air into the 4 patients' arteries after they underwent heart surgery in the Christus Trinity Mother Frances Hospital in Tyler in 2017 and 2018. All 4 suffered unexplained neurological problems while recovering from their surgeries and died. Davis's lawyer says he is being used as a scapegoat. Being followed up, the skeletal remains of a child were found inside an apartment in the Houston area along with 3 surviving siblings who appear to have been abandoned, a sheriff said. One of the children, a 15-year-old, called the Harris County Sheriff's Office on Sunday afternoon and told authorities that his 9-year-old brother had been dead for a year and the body was found inside the apartment, the office said in a statement. Deputies responded and found the teen, along with 2 other siblings ages 10 and 7, living alone in the apartment, Harris County Sheriff Ed Gonzalez told reporters. The skeletal remains were also located. It appears that the remains had been there for an extended time, and I emphasize extended, Gonzalez said. The sheriff said it also appeared that the surviving children were fending for each other, with the oldest sibling caring for the other younger two. It was unclear whether any of the kids were attending school. The younger children appeared to be malnourished and had physical injuries, the statement said. All three siblings were taken to a hospital to be assessed and treated. The mother of the children and her boyfriend were later located. In this next story, 2 postal contractors accused of stealing more than 8,000 pieces of mail worth more than $4 million have been charged in West Texas with possession of stolen mail, federal prosecutors said on Tuesday. A federal grand jury in Lubbock indicted Joy Roy Rivas III, 22, and Jessica Lynn Solomon, 35, on October 13 after federal agents seized the mail found in the contractor's possession, according to a statement issued by federal prosecutors. The mail seizure was one of the largest in the history of the 100-county Northern District of Texas, the statement said. The 2 defendants are former employees of a company that processes for U.S. Postal Service's containers of mail sent on and received from flights operating at Lubbock International Airport, according to the indictment. The indictment accused Rivas and Solomon for sifting for items containing cash, gift cards, checks, and money orders while employed as contractors. They stole that mail and stashed it in 55-gallon trash bags at their residences, the indictment alleged. Among the checks they stole were a $25,728 check made payable to a telephone co-op, a $15,000 check to a consulting group, and a $2,411,863 check to a facilities management and food services company, prosecutors alleged. It's unclear from the indictment when the alleged theft started and how long it took place. Rivas remained in Lubbock County Jail on Tuesday, but Solomon was free on bond. The 2 are each charged with 1 count of conspiracy to possess stolen mail and 8 counts of possession of stolen mail. If convicted on all counts, they would face up to 45 years in prison. Messages to their defense attorneys seeking comment on their behalf were not immediately returned. After that, we have a man who landed behind bars for allegedly stealing Tide Pods from a local Family Dollar store, according to Laredo police. Marco Antonio Perales, 38, was arrested on the charge of robbery. At about 8:30 p.m. October 10, police officers responded to an assault report at the Family Dollar in 1900 block of Santa Maria Avenue. The store manager stated that a man went inside the business and concealed items under his shirt. The manager approached the man as he attempted to exit the store without paying for the merchandise. The manager was able to follow him and take some pictures of the man with her cell phone. Police officials say that the man was taunting the manager, throwing Tide Pods at her before he was caught by the police. Next, a 16-year-old boy was detained and a 21-year-old woman arrested for their alleged involvement in a human smuggling attempt that killed 2 migrants and injured several others in June, Laredo police said. The case occurred at about 6:27 p.m. on June 23 when LPD officers responded to an accident with injuries reported at the intersection of Main Avenue and Jefferson Street. The crash involved a white Dodge Ram pickup and a maroon Ford Expedition. Responding officers encountered U.S. Border Patrol agents rendering first aid to several victims involved in the accident. 2 men were suspected of entering the country illegally were pronounced dead at the scene, according to police. Several others were taken to local hospitals, resulting in 4 being flown out to San Antonio. Preliminary information indicated that the Dodge was transporting immigrants at the time of the crash. We will now be heading in for our first short break, so stay tuned. Coming up, the weather forecast.
Hey, are you tired?
Yeah, this Laredo weather's no joke.
Yeah, no kidding.
How are you still full of energy?
Here, try this.
That's refreshing.
Hi, everyone. Al Roker here. As a guy with his own catchphrase, I appreciate that Smokey's only said,
"Only you can prevent wildfires."
but I'm filling in because there's a lot more to report. Like when there are parched or windy conditions out there, you gotta be extra careful with things like burning yard waste. After all, wildfires can start anywhere, even in your neck of the woods. Go to SmokeyBear.com to learn more about wildfire prevention.
The weather will be in the 80s. The sky will be mostly sunny and it will have a 13% chance of rain. As for a 3-day forecast, for Friday, the weather will be in the 70s and it will be partly cloudy and the chances of rain are 24%. Saturday's weather will be in the 70s and it will be partly cloudy. The probability of rain will be 7%. Saturday's weather will be also in the 70s and will be partly cloudy. The chances of rain that day will be 22%. That will conclude today's weather forecast. Bye, and see you back in sports.
Scene 103, take one.
I thought we'd be on the same page about this, and we're not.
How do I know the way I'm going to respond to it?
I want you to get the vaccine because I want you to be safe.
What if you end up in the hospital? That's what I'm scared of.
If you was to die, man, that would literally kill me, man.
I hug you.
Yes. If it made you feel that way, bro, I would probably do. I love you. I love you too.
Returning from the forecast, the Dallas Cowboys are not expecting Dak Prescott to miss substantial time due to a calf injury. Just one play later, Mac Jones forced Diggs to bite on a nifty pump fake before launching a deep rocket into Kendrick Bourne, who snuck behind the safety for a 75-year-old score. Prescott and company got themselves into an adequate field position on Dallas's ensuing 2-minute drill and converted a field goal to send the game into overtime. In the extra period, Dallas's D came up with the crucial stop, forcing a punt and returning the ball to Prescott number 4, then calmly led his troop downfield before rattling off this momentous dime on the run to CeeDee Lamb, who waltzed in for the decisive touchdown. It was on this play that Prescott sustained the injury, a calf strain, as he rolled out of the pocket to gain some room to throw. Prescott was seen limping off the field as he celebrated Dallas' victory. He then appeared at a news conference in the boot. Next, Premier League club Newcastle has asked fans to stop wearing imitation Arab head coverings and robes that some adopted to mark the new ownership by Saudi Arabia's sovereign wealth fund. Newcastle said the clones seen at Sunday's game against Tottenham could be seen as culturally inappropriate, but insisted that the new owners were not in any way offended. Newcastle United is kindly asking supporters to refrain from wearing traditional Arabic clothing or Middle East-inspired head coverings at matches if they would not wear such attire ordinarily. The club said in a statement, "No one among the new ownership was in any way offended by the attire of the fans who chose to celebrate in this way." Newcastle said it was a gesture that acknowledged as positive and welcoming in its intent. After that, we have Boston Celtics star Jaylen Brown, who tested positive for COVID-19 on October 8th, who will be in the starting lineup for Wednesday's opener against the New York Knicks, Coach Ime Udoka said. Brown, who had been listed as questionable on Tuesday afternoon, said he had some mild symptoms for the most part, including some breathing issues that he used meditation to navigate through. "The most concerning was my breathing," Brown said. "I had to focus to get my breathing kind of back to normal. But the more I focused on it, the better I was able to gain more efficiency on it." Brown said the Celtics have provided an inhaler for him to use if he needs it, but he hopes it won't be necessary Wednesday night. "I feel pretty good for the most part," Brown said. "Just coming off being in quarantine and ramping the intensity level, there's concerns, risk of injury, and things like that. Some of the coaches are concerned it might be too soon, just because this is the NBA." We are now going in for our last small break, so stay with us.
Scene 103, take one.
I thought we'd be on the same page about this, and we're not.
How do I know the way I'm going to respond to it?
I want you to get the vaccine because I want you to be safe.
What if you end up in the hospital? That's what I'm scared of.
If you was to die, man, that would literally kill me, man.
I hug you.
Yes. If it made you feel that way, bro, I would probably do. I love you. I love you too.
Thank you for sticking with us. Next up, a Madison County Waffle House employee called 911 Monday night to report an attempted robbery. The suspect was unarmed and simply left after grabbing some napkins, according to the Madison County Sheriff's Office. MCSO identified Edward William Rodriguez as the assailant based on video footage and witness descriptions. Rodriguez entered the Waffle House on 145 Southeast Bandage Street at about 8 p.m., said MCSO. Witnesses described him as a white man wearing a gray hoodie, dark jeans, and dark hat with dark hair. He was reportedly accompanied by a smart dog. Rodriguez then began shouting, "Get on the ground. You are getting robbed," according to MCSO report. He then stated that he was high and drunk before grabbing some napkins and walking out. Rodriguez got into a vehicle and left the parking lot, the 911 caller told deputies. The suspect did not appear to have a weapon, but did raise his hands with fingers in the shape of a gun, said MCSO. Deputies located Rodriguez at his residence and placed him under arrest without incident after he admitted to the crime. He was then taken to Madison County Jail on charges of unarmed robbery and assault. The 911 caller told deputies no one was hurt in the incident. It's a bird. It's a plane. Or is it a fireball? A video newly released by the American Meteor Society shows a fireball moving across the sky above North Carolina last Friday. According to NASA Meteor Watch, the phenomenon was seen over North Carolina after 7:30 p.m. and was one of the several fireball sightings in the U.S. That night, an analysis from NASA said the meteor skimmed the coast off North Carolina, noticeable to viewers when it was some 48 miles above the ocean near Jacksonville, North Carolina, as it blazed across the sky at around 32,000 miles per hour. Meteoroids typically enter Earth's atmosphere at about 25,000 to 1,600,000 miles per hour. However, as they rapidly decelerate as they travel through the atmosphere, according to the nonprofit American Meteor Society. The fireball traveled 26 miles through Earth's upper atmosphere, later disintegrating 28 miles above Morehead City, North Carolina, up to 150 people across Maryland, South Carolina, Virginia, and West Virginia reported seeing a streaking fireball go across their states, AMS reports. So what exactly is a fireball? According to experts, they are considered to be exceptionally bright meteors that appear to be brighter than the planet Venus. Most commonly, fireballs are seen by ground-based observers at night. Several thousand fireball meteors occur in the Earth's atmospheres each day, with the vast majority taking place over oceans and unpopulated regions, according to the AMS. Last but not least, an Israeli amateur diver found a large 900-year-old sword dating back to the Crusades at the bottom of the Mediterranean Sea, Israeli searchers said. The diver, identified as Shlomi Katzen from Atlit, Israel, discovered the weapon on a Saturday, among other artifacts on the Mediterranean seabed, including ancient stone anchors, other anchors made out of metal, and pottery fragments, according to the Israel Antiquities Authority. The sword has a blade of over 39 inches long and a hilt measuring nearly 12 inches, and it likely once belonged to a crusading knight. Katzen brought the sword ashore after fearing it could be further buried under the sea-shifting sands. He then reported to find his report at his IAA and was given a certificate of appreciation for good citizenship, an IAA spokesperson said. The sword, which had been preserved in perfect condition, is a beautiful and rare find and once belonged to a crusader knight, said Nur Destafeld, an inspector for the IAA Robbery Prevention Unit. It was found encrusted with marine organisms, but is made out of iron. It is exciting to encounter such a personal object, taking you 900 years back in time to a different era with knights, armor, and swords. We all hope you enjoyed today's news, and we'll be glad to see you tune in for more. This is VMT News. Have an amazing afternoon.